Hello my friends, I wanted to do a new video for you. We are gonna do the wildflowers. It's Tim Holtz #2, and we are gonna use them, do a little watercolor, some inking, so maybe some markers, we'll see. Kind of have a little bit of everything. I don't know exactly how it's gonna turn out, but I have an idea in my head, so let's begin. You're probably gonna see the video and see the actual finished card before you start watching this, but I'll post it as the main video. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my new videos, and visit my shop at lilyofthevale77.etsy.com. I'll have it posted below in the video description. So visit my shop, buy these cards, and tell your friends about them if you like them. Also, my cards will have a little stamp with my webpage on there, so you can go and purchase them. Okay, so let's begin. I bought this new paper with, it's called mixed media. So this is good for, it says wet and dry media, so we'll see if it holds out or not. So I wanted to experiment. I also have the watercolor pad. This is what I cut out the flowers from, just the plain white paper, but because they're so tiny, I needed some really strong paper, plus the kind that will hold water, since I will be using some of it on here. So I die cut the little flowers right here, so to save us some time. These are the dies, so you get this one, this one, this little one. I would call this one probably like light lavender, so that's what I'm gonna do with this one. And then this one is pretty much, I would say, more of leaves, kind of just a plant, not flowery. But you can always add flowers on top of it and change it up. We're just going to use it as leaves. So let's begin. First of all, before we color the flowers, I wanted to do a blue background. So let's do this. I'm going to paint right off. This is my water brush. I don't know the brand of it. I don't know if it's, I don't think it's on here, so sorry. Curd Take is what it says on here, so I don't know if that helps any, but anyways, I really like this brush. I use it for everything. Just wash the tip and keep going. So we can do two things. We can either do this like we did before, put it on your mat here, maybe a little more there, or you can do it right off of the ink pad. So we'll see if we want to do what. So I'm going to add a little water to it because I want it kind of like cloudy, so I don't want it all, so we're just going to do like spatches a little here and there and let the water do its thing on it. Maybe even a little coloring here. We're just doing the background, so I don't want too much blue. I just want it to kind of give us this hint of blue in the background of our little bouquet we're going to do. Almost kind of like a cloud or sky in the background. Can do a little darker in some spots, a little lighter in others. And we're kind of going to keep it more to an oval shape. Pretty much used up most of the ink. Just have a little bit here. Let the blue come out so it's not, doesn't stop all of a sudden. So we're gonna kind of pull it out a little bit on the tips so it kind of fades out. If you want, you can go back and add more blue, but we're going to do this first to let it dry out. Okay, so that's it. To wash the tip, just put a dab of water and just kind of like that, just wash it out. Okay, so we're gonna leave that aside to dry. Next, let's do the little vase, because I'm gonna want something to dry on here that I might do before or after, I don't know, but let's do this one. I wanted to do it in green. Let's wipe this off first. Let's try this Lucky Green, see if I like the color. So this is the Tim Holtz Lucky Green. Oh, and the blue one, it was the Salty Ocean. I forgot to show you. I love this one. This is my favorite blue. It's like the sky blue. Okay, so we'll add a little bit of water on the side, and then we'll just choose which side is going to be darker. We'll do this side that will be darker. So I'll need more green to it. We'll color the whole thing in green. I can always add color, but I cannot take it away. So let's do this one in darker green first. And this is the same watercolor paper as I did my flowers out of. So I can do quite a bit on here without being too worried about the paper. I'm going to probably go back and add a green right off of the pad to make it a bit darker. It's a little too light than what I'd like it to be. I can always go back and ink it up after it dries even more, but I wanted to make sure it's got green everywhere first. Since it's a small ink pad, it didn't leave as much as I thought, but it's okay. So not as much for me to work with. That's why we need the actual pad to pick up from. And it's not the oxide one, so it doesn't have as much color to it as the oxides do. So okay, we'll let it dry, clean the brush, same way. Let it dry, and then we can always go back and actually use the ink pad to darken it on the outside. Okay, so let's wipe this off now and start working on our flowers. Flowers, I'll give you one tip. They seem to want more than one time to go through the machine to die cut in my big kick, even on the precision base ones. So I had to go through multiple times for them to cut because they're so intricate up here. So either use an extra shim or you just make sure you go through. But it did cut. See, it cut it through just fine. I struggled with it the first time, but then this one, but the rest of them are okay. Okay, so let's ink them up. So what we're going to do, we're going to use a couple of different colors. We're going to use orange for the outside. This is the pumpkin, carved pumpkin. And then the fossilized amber will be the centers. Okay, so I can go right into the center. And just like that, I'm going to ink the center. And then I'm going to try it this way. I'm not going to add any drops of water to it, but I will start with the tips to make them darker and then go forward so it kind of blends together. Okay, just like that. Give it a little more color on the tips, because the brush tends to release just a tiny bit of water anyways, pulls it. So I don't need to add any extra water to keep the tips darker. Okay, just like that. And I want it multicolored because the wildflowers are not perfectly the same color, so I don't want them to be all perfectly the same, but at the same time I want the tips darker. I don't want them light. Okay, almost forgot about these here. Let's do that. Okay, add a little bit more color to the ends. And we'll do this with a few more. I can always, when it dries, go back and do a little more inking. We'll see if I need to or not. Let's get these out of the way so I have a little more room to work with. I'll set it down there, let it dry. We'll do the same thing with the other ones. So I'm just gonna wipe that off and go back and get more ink for the orange part. It really colors it orange on the tips when you go straight without any water to it. I like that. I want it a lot darker. And these are wildflowers, so they're kind of supposed to be wild. So don't worry if they're not perfect. They're not supposed to be. I don't know if you watched those movies where in the olden days they used to bring all these kind of bouquets of flowers. Like a husband or somebody, like even a child, the son will bring a beautiful bouquet of flowers from the fields for their mom or somebody they love. They love that stuff. So this is what this reminds me of. What makes me think of those great little times when people used to be outdoors all the time. A little bit more. Okay, there's another one. Set that one aside and we'll do one more the same way. So we'll go back and do yellow in the middle. Just like that. And then go into the orange and get that in there. I'm not worried about the brush being contaminated from one color to the other because first of all, yellow is lighter, so orange will overtake it anyways, but at the same time I want the combination of colors anyways. You could add a tiny bit of green to the middle, maybe when it dries a little, to give it a chance to have the little centers even darker. Because some flowers have multiple colors of centers. They might have a green and then a black, or green and yellow, and it's kind of interesting to watch the flowers, how beautiful each one is. Okay, just a little bit more here. There we go. They're beautiful. Okay, so we're done with the yellow, I think. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, let's probably move on. I'll clean this up. Get that out of the way. And let's move on to doing the green one right here. Okay, clean my little area here. Let's move on to these green leaves. I got a little piece. This one I cut out of the same paper we did the background, so it doesn't hold off as well. See, it pretty much dried out. I mean, the paper doesn't have any little rolls on there, but it did start bending. So just a little FYI compared to this one that we did. It didn't really change shape much at all. Kind of held its shape. So that one's a lot stronger, the watercolor one. Actually, I'm liking the vase the color it is. I don't know if I'm going to add any more, but let it keep drying. We'll go from there. So what I do want to do though is we're going to do some green. Let's try this one. This is the peeled paint. See if it's, might do a combination of colors, but I want it pretty dark, so let's go in here, paint that in, and then we can go back and add the other green in here. Because this has kind of a yellow tint to it, so I've got a lot of green to do because of the little stems of the flowers, so it'll be a little bit. I also have the archival ink in green. We might do that instead. We'll see. Because there's a lot of watercoloring to do. I don't know if I want to do it all. Okay. So there's that. We can do two things. We can try this. Add this little green to it. Give it a little more green to the leaves. A combination of two colors. And I'm picking up green because I need a lot of it to overpower the other one, so I'm picking up quite a bit of extra green on there. I'm trying to go fast. But there we go. That's our little leaf there. I think I'm going to let this dry, and we're just gonna use an ink pad for other stuff because it's gonna be a very long video if I do all of this in green like that. So we can do a couple of different things. So we can either use the ink pad straight off on here, just like that. I am liking that green. It's a pretty green, just off of here. Just like that. Okay, so here's how the green turned out, which I really like. I like that green. We can always go back and do, but let's just do it this way. I think I like this more. The way it turned out, I'm really liking it. I know my hands are going to be all dirty after this though. Just a little warning for you. Because I'm going straight to the ink pad. But I want that dark color is why I'm doing it. So there's that one. Ooh. This is water-based ink, so I'm hoping it'll all wash off just fine. Okay. I guess I could have inked part of it beforehand, before die cutting it, but that's okay. And if you get a little bit of green on the actual flower, it's not a big deal, don't worry about it, because that's what wildflowers are. They're all different colors, all kinds of stuff on them. Some parts have bloomed already, some is in the process of getting there, so this is kind of what it's all about. So I'm going to do all the green on all of them right away, so I don't have to go back to it. Okay, and one more flower here. I decided to turn this one the other way to give it, because it's supposed to go in one direction, but when you lay them down, see how they go in the opposite directions? Gonna make like a heart, so that's why I turned this one around to make it lay better in my bouquet. Okay, so let me grab a wet wipe here. And wash my hands off. Or as much as I can anyways. See how the green got a little bit on there? Don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. You could wash your hands in between each one. I'm kind of trying to speed up the process, so. Okay, so there's this. Oh, inking of the vase. This is what I was telling you about. My hands are going to get dirty again, but. So, just take your ink pad right to the vase and give it. Let's see if I can show you that. Just like that on the end. And it gives it this edge, this rough edge. If you don't like it too much, you can go back and spread it out. It is water soluble, so if you don't like something, so here's my little vase. Like this, you can take your little water brush and spread it out. Just like that, a little more. If you think your edge is a bit too rough or too much ink got on there or anything else, you can just pull it right out because it is water soluble. Just like that. So that's gonna dry. Make sure it's all clean down here. Okay, so now let's do the purple part. So we have the seedless preserve and the wildflower. Let's do the wildflower, I think. I prefer the darker one. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it a little bit of ink and then use some water to spread it out. Just like that. A little bit here and there, so it's a little bit more combined and not missing spots of color somewhere. Just like that. But if you have a little white, it's perfectly fine because normal flowers might have sun reflections and stuff. So here's my, let's put it against here. This is the lilac looking one. I don't know how to hold it. So, there you go. That's going to be that one. And then these are lilies, so we're going to do them a little bit different. Well, not quite, but I mean different colors. So we're going to do a fire brick for the top, and we're going to do orange at the bottom, and then we'll combine the two. So let's do this. Make it easier this way. So we're just going to do the tips on here in orange. Just like that. And since it's going to be a dark color red, you can put quite a bit of orange so it combines better. But there's that. I'm going to leave it in case I need to go back. I don't actually need to wash my brush because this is a darker color, so put that on there. And then we're going to start from the very tips and go down. And then we're going to combine the two colors. Just like that, so it blends well. Same on here, more red on the top. And then do the blending between the two. There we go. Those are going to be those. And then on this one, I'm actually going to do similar but yet different. Okay, so let's take this, wipe this off so we have a clean area to work on. And then I'm going to take this one flower, really like this one too. And we actually going to do the tips in red, and then we're going to do brownish tint at the bottom of it. Gonna do a bit of an opposite, I guess. And that's why I told you it's best idea to have a watercolor paper for this, because you're gonna be doing a lot of blending. Okay, so I'm gonna clean my little surface here. Now we're going to go back and use some brown. And actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold it a bit, just like that, and put a tiny bit on there. And then we're going to spread it out. Just like that. Actually, I need a little bit more than that. So we're going to go back and get a little bit more color to it. There we go. And give it this bud brownish look. Actually, I'm going to get a little bit of green and add that to it too. Just like that. Maybe when you go like this. Okay. Paper saying enough. Let me dry out, then add more color. Okay. I have a ground espresso that I'm thinking I might add to get it a little more brownish than what the walnut stain was giving me. It was a little too light for me. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so now we're cleaning the surface and we're going to start putting this all together. So what I want to do is, so this is my background. Let's glue this on there first. We'll use red tape today. I have this red tape I've been wanting to use, so we're going to take this, put it right on here, and use it. Get that out of the way so it's not catching on my scissors. Okay. And then we'll do the middle like always. I decided not to use the archive ink, just in case you're wondering. I know I mentioned it, but I'm not going to use it. So let's do this. Okay.